There were two things that Narendra Modi talked about before and after becoming the Prime Minister: transparency and technology.
टेक्नोलॉजी के माध्यम से करप्शन को रोका जा सकता है, ट्रांसपेरेंसी लाई जा सकती है.
Modi made people believe that the right use of technology will bring about transparency and end corruption.
देश में विश्वास पैदा करने के लिए आवश्यक है और लोगों की जिम्मेदारी भी है ट्रांसपेरेंसी. पॉलिसी ड्रिवन गवर्नमेंट, इंडिविजुअल की नींव पर सरकारें नहीं चल सकती.
In reality, some of Modi government's flagship schemes are shrouded in secrecy. After electoral bonds were declared illegal by the Supreme Court, now questions are being raised once again about PM Cares Fund. Let's look at these questions on defending democracy. Before I get into it, here is a quick reminder. News Minute Tamil and News Laundry, we are a complete ad-free platform. We are not dependent on government ads from corporates or political parties. We are dependent on you. If you like our work and if you want to support us, do become a member of News Minute and News Laundry and support independent journalism.
Big breaking news coming in. Prime Minister Narendra Modi sets up a Citizen Assistance and Relief in Emergency Situations Fund for people to donate to India's battle against COVID-19.
The PM Cares Fund was launched in 2020 during the COVID-19 pandemic. The last bit of data that was provided regarding PM Cares Fund was in 2022. And for the past 2 years, the Prime Minister's office hasn't made any kind of disclosures on PM Cares Fund. This has raised concerns on misuse of public funds.
Presenting a public charitable trust as a private fund raises questions about the way that they have garnered thousands of crores allegedly in donations, where the money is being spent. Nobody knows about it except for Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi.
This PM Care Fund become more suspicious because it is exempted from any kind of scrutiny, and then nobody can find out where the money is being doled out. So when you create such a large fund and give a discretion to one individual who is not answerable, then it becomes very suspicious.
Therefore, this raises very serious questions about what the PM Cares Fund actually is, how it is structured, and what money has been received and what is the money being used for. And it puts into question the entire, not just legality of the fund, but the intention of the Prime Minister behind creating this fund.
Prime Minister acts like a cabinet, within the cabinet. Cabinet is answerable to the House. Here it is neither answerable to the Parliament nor answerable to the cabinet, all by one individual, which is most dangerous thing in this country. That nobody can allow such kind of a discretion in this country when there is governed by democracy and a written constitution.
Despite crores of rupees being donated, there is very little information about how this money is being used. We don't know where exactly the funds are going, how they are allocated, or what impact they are having. All we really have are vague details like voluntary donations and foreign contributions. By the end of 2022, the fund had rupees 5,415 crore left. The receipts and payments accounts disclosed by the PMO has details of money disbursed for ventilators to government hospitals run by the centre, state and union territories. For example, the March 2022 disclosure says money was allocated to establishment of 2 500-bedded makeshift COVID hospitals in Muzaffarpur and Patna, and 16 RT-PCR testing labs in 9 states and union territories. There is no clarity on where these makeshift COVID hospitals were set up, and there are no specific details of RT-PCR testing labs in 9 states and union territories. Even these scarce details have been published only till 2022, and for the last 2 years, there have been no disclosures made regarding PM Cares funds.
Now, the PM Cares Fund, with its opacity, raises questions as to where is the money coming from and where exactly is the money going. It has a State Bank of India account maintained in New Delhi, which they have to in order to comply with FCRA regulations. And the money comes into this account, but there is absolutely no disclosure of who is contributing to this fund, what is the expenditure that has been made, there is no public information available on which entities have contributed to this PM CARES fund. So the big questions really are, when there was a Prime Minister's National Relief Fund, why was the PM CARES fund created in the first place when the Prime Minister's National Relief Fund was well equipped to handle even donations and expenditure for COVID related things? Second thing is, now that the COVID pandemic is over, what happens to the PM CARES fund? I mean, it was a dedicated COVID-19 fund. We don't know how much money came into the PM CARES fund. We don't know how much money went out. We don't know what the money was spent on. And now that the COVID-19 pandemic is over, what happens to whatever corpus of money that is left in the PM CARES fund in their account?
PM CARES isn't the only relief fund in India. States have the Chief Minister Relief Funds, and these CM relief funds fall under the ambit of right to information. This means the citizen can file an RTI request to get details about how their money is being spent. But PM CARES is exempted from RTI. Not just that, let's look at the two Chief Minister Relief Funds. The Kerala government's Chief Minister Relief Fund has a dashboard. It is audited by the CAG, and the budgeting and the expenditure is subject to scrutiny by the state legislature. Maharashtra has a monthly dashboard and an annual dashboard. It is audited by an independent chartered accountant outside the government. PM CARES is also audited, but citizens are given very few details. Why? There is no clear explanation. And it's particularly troubling when you know that public donations are involved. Listen to the war veteran who exposed the electoral bond scheme.
It is exactly the same. In fact, I find this is more serious than the electoral bond. Early electoral bond was there was sale period laid down. It's a different matter. In 2018, they broke all the law to open sale. But this is one after that, nothing is known to people. Where is money coming, where is the money going, and why not put the audit report? In spite of the fact you refuse to do CAG report, but you say panel. They said panel, but CAG, my RTI did not say so. But even if it is in panel, you mention in the statement those points, observation made by CAG, but you don't give. I mean, then what do you call it? At least in the case of electoral bond, I used to get all the information within 48 hours of filing RTI, both from the State Bank of India and the Department of Economic Affairs. So here nothing is available. If you file an RTI, they will say we don't come under the RTI. It's not a public authority. It's public charitable trust. I don't understand. It's an NGO. Which NGO get this privilege of what is being used money to give it to government? If you are NGO, well, do the way NGO is supposed to function.
Several court rulings have protected the PM CARES fund from deeper scrutiny. Attempts to bring it under the purview of government audits by activists like Anjali Bharadwaj, Advocate Prashant Bhushan have been denied by the courts. This raises concerns about why there is a strong legal shield around it. Why is it being treated differently from other public funds that are subjected to rigorous public scrutiny?
The electoral bonds. How suddenly they took money for political party until Supreme Court says illegal. But Supreme Court is happy by saying illegal, but the money is still with the parties only. It's not taking stand to refund or take over the money as the beneficiary. So therefore, the PM CARE, at least they should allow two things. One is the RTA query. Number two, there should be a CAG audit on that. Otherwise, it is likely to be misused. It will be used like a slush fund.
The irony is that sometimes the government calls it a private charitable trust. Other times it is marketed as a government initiative by various departments, including Indian missions abroad.
The entire collection of money, government agencies were used. Even individuals had to contribute by appeals and things like this. Now these appeals are made by the Prime Minister's office. These are very much a public authority. When I use the word public authority, means they come under the RTI. Then, when we talk of expenditure from there, they issue a PIB release. Now, how can you issue if you are a public charitable trust, which is akin to NGO? Which NGO can use these facilities? You're using government facilities. press release regularly done, and the task which the money is releasing, I'll tell you on COVID time, whether it was a vaccine or whether it was a ventilators, it was being managed by the government, various ministries or department depending on what it was. So it's only just saying that money is coming from that kitty which we don't know who is giving and who is taking.
The question is, will we ever get full transparency on this issue? There is no doubt that it's time to push for greater accountability. If PM Cares is truly for public good, then the public deserves to know that how their money is being spent and not kept in the dark. That's all from me this week. I'll see you all in the next one. But before I go, here is another quick reminder. News Minute, News Laundry, we are a complete ad-free platform and we are dependent on you. So if you like our work and if you care for independent journalism, then do support us. Thanks for watching.